Alright, this is going to be the Bit Crusher in 3, 2, 1. Hello everybody, what is going on? Welcome back to another episode of Drives of the Axe-Fx 3. I am going to be your host, Lucas, and today we're looking at a really cool and weird pedal called the Bit Crusher. So, I want to explain it before I actually start playing because it's really cool. So, any type of Bit Crusher pedal, what it does is it basically lets you degrade your signal, and it lets you do a lot of crazy and cool crap. So if you come into the advanced tab in here, so in the basic tab, this is what you get. You get drive and you get tone. Basically just leave those at 10 because it doesn't really make a difference anyway. And when you come in here, this is where this pedal really shines in the lo-fi tab right here. So by default, when you load it up, I think the device are something like this. It's the sample rate's at 48, the bit reduce is at 20, and this is what it sounds like just loading up by default. Amp-wise, I have a CA3 Plus clean and my GGD IR 412 with some UK V30s. Normal stuff. So this is what this pedal sounds like, just kind of default. And it sounds very, very odd, but let me mess with it a little bit more and let you, it's pretty cool. So watch, just watch. So if you get rid of the bit reduce, you're left with just like a normal drive pedal, but if you jack it up, that's when we get to the magic. Slew rate doesn't have a massive effect on it, as you can hear, but let's mess with the sample rate. So as you can see, it makes it sound really 8-bit sounding. It sounds pretty cool. And what I really like is if you attach like a modifier to this and you put it on like an expression pedal, you can literally you can jog it, for instance. And of course, it sounds like a really cool synth. I mean, this pedal is great. You could spend years playing with this. Hey, be quiet. You could spend years playing with this, and it's really cool. So let's read about it a little bit. Everything that I'm getting is going to come from the X Drive guide. I'm going to put a link to that down in the description if you want to check it out. So, also, make sure you subscribe because we're going to be going through all of the different amps in the Axe-Fx 3. I don't want you to miss those. So, Fractal actually made this itself, and it's kind of I don't want to say basic, but it's more or less of, the pedal, it's crushing the bits, it's making some funky sounds, you're messing with the sample rate and stuff like that. It's not modeled out the specific pedal, Fractal just made it themselves. And actually, in the owner's manual, it says, based on a black box we found lying in the trash outside of Studio Harsh Clip. Nice little touch right there. Like I was saying before, you can do all kind of stuff with it. And it showcases bit reduce control. And it actually appears in every drive, so you can mess with it on every drive. It's not limited to any specific model. You can create digital artifacts, artifacts by reducing the resolution of the digital signal and subtract from 24-bit scale. 4-bit audio is set to 20. It does introduce background hiss, which if you're going for that lo-fi sound, you can definitely, that definitely helps. And I'm not gonna get super deep into this because I don't want to keep you here all day. Another way to intentionally downgrade signal quality is to use a sample rate control. That's what we were doing. That's what we were doing earlier. This includes digital aliasing or reducing the sample rate from 48K all the way down to 48 Hertz. This control appears in every drive model. That's also really cool. You can do it on any drive model. And this kind of gives you an example of how playback's recorded, for example, in the bitrate and stuff like that. Here's some tips from me. Like, you can run it with the looper and experiment with the bit reducing sample rate, record a clip, set it to playback, go out the controls. It's a very great idea. Whenever you're building a tone, by the way, slap your looper on there, record your little riff, and then go to town. It makes things so much easier. Attach a sequencer to the parameter in the synth block and run it through a bit crusher model. That's a good idea too. Attach an expression pedal to the sample rate. That's what I was talking about earlier. And here's some cool tips for lo-fi sounds too, if you want to get those. Lower the low and high sliders in the GEQ block. Use the IR of a tiny speaker cabinet, crank speaker drive in the amp block, crank the preamp controls in the cab block. Another thing to do in the cab block, if you like turn the high pass, so if you turn it down a lot, you'll get that hi-fi sound. Ring modulator, ring modulator, and a bit reducer would sound over the top ridiculous. Use ample low pass and high pass filtering. Generate pink or white noise with the synth block. Lots of cool ways to get some funky sounds using the bit crusher. Let me just mess with the drive and tone so you can hear what I was talking about earlier. It doesn't really make a big difference. You get a little bit brighter on the high end. The tone, take a little bit of noise out of it, but like I said, the tone really doesn't make a difference because, I mean, at the heart of it, this is really just like a normal like drive pedal. But you can do so much cool stuff with this. I mean, you can go hog wild and put it in delay, and if you get like a lo-fi sound to start with and then you mess with that anymore, I mean, you can go all kind of places with it. Alright guys, I'm not going to keep you here all day. This is the Bit Crusher pedal. It's cool, you can mess with it, you can do some funky stuff. And this is why the Axe-Fx is cool. You can make your own sounds and do some funky stuff. But if you thought this video was cool, make sure you leave me a like. Let Facebook know that I'm a pretty cool guy. Like I said before, make sure you subscribe. We're going to be doing lots of cool stuff. We're going through all the amps of the Axe-Fx 3, going through all the drives. I don't want you to miss any of that. Alright guys, this is going to be it for me. I'm going to be out. Peace.